unfortunate, but that's a lot of the work that we do in advocacy and communications, is trying to explain what it is we do. Most of the engagement we have is on Facebook and Twitter, which, as you should know, is often anonymous, and so people speak with a relative, with a degree of sort of brutal frankness and or racism, which is quite astonishing. But you also find that no matter what happens, literally, somebody can wake up in the morning and find a street lamp has fallen down in front of their house. The first thing they'll say on Facebook is, "What's the Human Rights Commission doing about this?" So there's not much understanding about our mandate. And so, with our tracking, we track media coverage nationally and internationally. A lot of it comes back negative, but when you drill down into the statistics, you find that it's often the issue, which is often a violent issue or a race issue or some sort of really horrible social issue that we are associated with by virtue of people saying, well, what are they doing about it? So our public perception is not that great. But I also always say when I speak on the Human Rights Commission that 21 years, with our Constitution, is 20 years, and the Human Rights Commission is 21 years old. 20 years in the lifespan of a constitutional democracy is nothing.
Right.
If you think about your constitution and your constitutional democracy, if you think about the United Kingdom, the Magna Carta, which comes from 1200, our constitution is 20 years old. We are still trying to educate people about what it means.
Wow.
So a lot of that public criticism. The other thing I think people, and my colleague at the back, Tadiso, and I have a disagreement about this, but one of the things I always like to say to contextualize the negative attitude people have towards us is that we have 50 million people in South Africa, and then 207 of us nationally. Okay, it's a big country. We have lots of areas that do not have all the modcons that we are used to in the cities. And so a lot of our work is away from the glare of the media. A lot of our work is off Twitter and Facebook. And that while what happens on social media tends to sort of generate negative publicity, what a lot of people don't understand is that we work with the most vulnerable people who are often at the coalface of racism and inequality in the country. And those are not the kinds of people who are likely to sort of tweet and say, oh, whoop-de-doo, I can wear my dreadlocks to school now thanks to the Human Rights Commission. Yeah, so we try to contextualize that. But we also, I've only been here since the 1st of April, so I sometimes think, oh, April Fool's joke, whatever. But I will say this, that in the 2 months that I have joined, I am humbled by this institution. I know my colleagues look at me askance when I say that, but the dedication, the commitment, and the work that gets done here. And I think that, this is a perfect year for us as a commission, and this is the challenge for this year that we celebrate 20 years of our Constitution, is that we want to take this faceless bureaucracy, which we have become, because we're so busy burrowing away behind the scenes, and turn it into an institution where people understand and know the people. Because I think that once you start to engage with the people, like Yuri, like Pandiri, like Joyce, like my other colleagues in this room, and you start to see the passion and the commitment that people have for human rights, it really, really is very humbling. So yeah, I am a journalist, and I did recently join the Commission, and I think that for me that is one of my biggest challenges, to share with South Africans the real work, but also to hold up a mirror to my colleagues, because I suppose, in a context of such inequality, people often do get very ground down by the realities that they're facing, and often don't recognize the actual wonderful work that they are doing. So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perhaps on the other side, there's a lot to be said on the negative side, but on the positive side, without trying to be a spin doctor,